Hi, well, just a regular person, But I've got this incredible story to share about someone who changed everything. It all began in a little town called Bethlehem, where a baby was born who would shake the foundations of the world. His name was Jesus, and even his birth was miraculous. His mother, Mary, was visited by an angel. Shepherds in the fields nearby were the first to hear the good news. They followed the star to find the newborn king. As Jesus grew up, he amazed everyone with his wisdom. Even as a child, he was teaching in the temple. But his early life wasn't all smooth sailing. His family had to flee to Egypt to escape a jealous king. When they returned, Jesus lived a simple life as a carpenter's son. But he was preparing for something big. At the age of 30, Jesus began his public ministry, teaching and performing miracles that would change the world forever. When he was about 30, Jesus started his ministry. He chose 12 disciples, ordinary people like you and me. There was Peter, the fisherman with a fiery temper, and John, the one Jesus loved like a brother. Matthew was a tax collector, and Judas, well, we'll get to him later. Jesus' teachings were revolutionary. He spoke of love, forgiveness, and a kingdom not of this world. He taught using parables, stories that made complex ideas simple and beautiful, like the story of the prodigal son, showing God's endless love and forgiveness, or the Good Samaritan teaching us to love our neighbors, even those we might consider enemies. And the miracles. He healed the sick, gave sight to the blind, and even raised the dead. Jesus showed compassion to everyone, even those society rejected. He ate with tax collectors and sinners, shocking the religious leaders of his day. But not everyone was happy with Jesus. Some powerful people felt threatened by him, and sadly, one of his own disciples, Judas, betrayed him for 30 pieces of silver. In a heart-wrenching turn of events, Jesus was arrested and put on trial. Even though he had done nothing wrong, he was sentenced to death by crucifixion. As he hung on the cross, Jesus showed love until the very end, forgiving those who crucified him. His followers were devastated. How could their teacher, their friend, be gone? But then on the third day, something incredible happened. The tomb was empty. Jesus had risen from the dead. He appeared to his disciples, bringing hope and joy beyond measure. He showed them his hands and his side, proving that he had truly conquered death. Then, in a final, miraculous moment, they watched as he ascended into heaven. But this wasn't the end of the story. It was just the beginning. Jesus had promised to send a helper, the Holy Spirit, to guide and empower his followers. And on the day of Pentecost, that promise was fulfilled in an amazing display of wind and fire. And it's still changing lives today, even mine. When I first heard this story, I was skeptical. How could all this be true? But as I learned more, I realized that this wasn't just a tale from long ago. It was a living story, one that I could be part of too. Now, every day, I try to live out Jesus' teachings of love, forgiveness, and hope. It's not always easy, but it's the most fulfilling journey I've ever been on. So that's the story of Jesus, a story of love, sacrifice, and hope that continues to this day.